Hi, my name's Ingrid and this is Sally, and we're the founders of Wilderbean. We're a new business based in Melbourne and we make chickpea pasta made from Australian grown chickpeas and mung beans.
So today we're going to do a recipe with you guys making a kale pesto with roasted eggplant, chickpea pasta and some sunflower microgreens. So first off we're going to cut the eggplants in half and score them and then salt them. So what this does is it draws out some of the moisture so that when you roast them they're not as soggy and it makes them go nice and soft. So just cut them in half, just do some little diagonal cuts. It's best to sit them for about an hour to give them time for the moisture to come out, but if you've just got 10 minutes, that's also enough. They'll still be delicious. So next step is to roast the sunflower seeds in the oven, which we've set to about 180 degrees. And this just brings out the nutty flavour a bit. Just be careful when you're roasting them too to keep an eye on them because they can burn quite quickly. There's a fine line between golden brown and burnt. So I'm just going to rinse the eggplants now to get off any of the salt and give them a bit of a squeeze under running water as well to get the last of the moisture out of them. So once you've chopped your garlic, mix it in with the oil, and then we're going to use this to coat on top of the eggplants before we roast them. So the sunflower seeds are all done now, and you can see they've gone a nice golden brown.
So now we're going to put together our pesto. We've got parsley here, kale, we're going to use some olive oil, nutritional yeast, salt, pepper, a lemon, as well as the golden sunflower seeds that we prepared a little earlier. So you might be familiar with pesto usually using basil, but today we're using parsley because we really want to use something that's in season right now in Melbourne winter. At Wilderbean we love using seasonal ingredients and local produce. So first of all, we're just going to take the leaves of the parsley. We're only going to use that component so that we're not getting stalks, and it will make for a really delicious fresh flavour. So when we're preparing the kale, we just want to cut out this woody stalk piece in the centre, and we'll just use the leaves. So I'm just going to do that now, cutting away the leaves. We're cutting out the woody core of the kale just because it's very fibrous and it's probably not going to taste as great in our pesto, but in some dishes you can use the centre of the kale. So now we're just going to use the food processor to make the pesto. We're going to add all our ingredients. So we've got the nutritional yeast, garlic, a pinch of salt, got our pepper and a little bit of olive oil. And we're just going to start with the parsley, so we'll put that in first. In it goes. So now we're just going to pulse all those ingredients and get the pesto started. And now we're going to add the kale, put that in. We'll probably need to do it in 2 rounds just because it's not going to all fit. Juice of 1 lemon, squeezing that in. So now we're going to add some delicious sunflower seed microgreens to the pesto. These will be a great addition because they've not only got a really nice buttery flavour, but they've got a great texture as well, so they'll be a great addition. One thing to keep in mind with these microgreens is just to remove any seeds that happen to be hanging around. So you can do that by giving the microgreens a good brush, or you can just pick those off individually. When you're cutting your microgreens, you want to cut near the base of the stem so that you're getting microgreens but not the roots or the seeds. Then last of all, we're just going to add those sunflower seeds. We don't want those to get too ground up. It's nice to have a bit of a coarse texture, so we'll just put that in last. Alright, so that's it finished there. So our pesto's done. You can see there all the beautiful green colours and it smells delicious. And now we're on to making our pasta.
Okay, so next up we're going to make the pasta to have with the pesto, and today we're using our Wilderbean chickpea pasta. So this pasta has twice the protein, 3 times the fibre and less carbs compared to regular pasta, and that's because it's made from 100% chickpeas and mung beans. So it's a really great option if you're eating more plant-based meals as a way to sneak in some extra protein and some more fibre as well. Our chickpea pasta cooks much like regular pasta, and it has that nice al dente chew as well. You just want to simmer it gently for about 10 minutes and just taste it as you go until you get the chew that you like. One thing you will notice is it does foam a little bit. If you've ever cooked chickpeas at home, you will have seen that they also foam. So because it's made out of chickpeas, they do foam a little, but if you keep it uncovered, it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so thanks so much guys for joining us for this recipe. We hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in trying our Wilderbean pasta, you can purchase it online at our online store, which is at www.wilderbean.com.au. We've set up a special promo code for the Brazilians growing cohort, which is Farmwall20, which will give you 20% off in our online store. You can also find our stockists on our website as well. If you're interested in other recipes using our chickpea pasta and using lots of plant-based ingredients, you can follow us on Instagram at @wilderbean_, and we share lots of really great recipe ideas there as well.
So we started Wilderbean to empower people to include more legumes into the everyday foods that they eat. We see that there's a huge opportunity to improve the health of not only ourselves but that of the planet.
So the way that legumes tie into your Future of Food segment that you guys are working on this week is that legumes are one of the most sustainable foods on the planet. So firstly, they're super water efficient. They grow in Victoria just with rainfall, not requiring any irrigation, which is going to be really important going forward as our climate changes and water becomes more scarce. And secondly, they have a much lower carbon footprint compared to protein that you might get from meat or from animal sources. So just as a comparison, to create 1 kilo of lentils, it only takes 1 kilo of greenhouse gas emissions, whereas if you created 1 kilo of beef, you have 23 kilos of emissions. So it's a really efficient way of getting your protein. And that's why we think over time, our culture will shift more and more towards a plant-based diet that's both good for our bodies and for the planet.
So we empower people by creating our chickpea pasta, which is made from all Australian chickpeas and mung beans, and is a really great option for anyone with any type of diet, but particularly if they're looking to include more plant-based protein.